Hello there, Brick Fanatics. The clock is ticking. We are now over 10% of the way through 2024, if you can believe it, which means we need to be paying attention to LEGO sets that will be retiring by the end of this year. Indeed, there are 3 LEGO sets that fans of big chunky buildings in particular need to be mindful of. By the end of this year, LEGO will be retiring LEGO 76218 Sanctum Sanctorum, LEGO 21056 Taj Mahal, and LEGO 21338 A-Frame Cabin. Yes, if you are working on your own personal LEGO landscape, then 2024 is going to be a big year for retiring buildings. It seems that the LEGO group is clearing house, literally. I mean, not clearing house, more clearing palace, cabin, and weird fantasy whatever, but, you know, same difference. Considering that the end of 2023 brought the retirement of several key modular buildings, we've seen quite a lot of shake-up of this particular side of the LEGO catalogue in recent months. Now, the fact that they're retiring doesn't mean that the A-Frame Cabin, Taj Mahal and Sanctum Sanctorum are going to disappear immediately. It simply means that by the end of this year, by December the 31st, 2024, the LEGO group will have stopped producing more stock. It does also mean that some may stick around on store shelves beyond this date, depending on what leftover stock there might be, and it does mean that some sets may disappear before this, depending on at what point the LEGO group actually stops manufacturing them, but it's just something that you need to be aware of. At some point in the next 11 months or so, these sets are going to disappear. I mean, not from the aftermarket. They're going to be sticking around for a while if you're willing to pay enough money for them, but that does get significantly more expensive. It is also worth bearing in mind that just because a set is slated for retirement at the moment, it doesn't mean that it will actually retire at this point. The LEGO group's retirement schedule does shift around as months go on, and it's not uncommon for a LEGO set's retirement date to be put back a little while, or to be moved forward depending on how well it's selling. With all of this being the case, let's have a chat about these 3 retiring sets, why they matter, and why you might want to keep an eye on them if they happen to go on sale in the next few months. Right, now, I have some visual aids as we have this discussion. Just gotta figure out the right way to display this. This thing has been in this box for a very long time. So we've got a bonus unboxing video happening here. I couldn't ever bring myself to open it because this is the worst deal I have ever made in purchasing LEGO. What do we have here? What do we have here? Oh! Sanctum Sanctorum. The worst LEGO deal I ever made, because I bought this thing at retail price. The thing that makes this one interesting is, while it looks an awful lot like a modular building it is not, because it is a Marvel building instead. And with that comes a wider availability. Where most modular buildings are exclusive to LEGO stores and perhaps maybe 1 or 2 other stores depending on local circumstances and environments and deals, these things are everywhere, and because they're everywhere, they ended up being a lot cheaper for basically anybody looking to buy one if you didn't buy it from lego.com or from a LEGO store, or etc, etc. I think the retail price on this one is currently £215 on the LEGO website or in LEGO stores, and it's not uncommon to see it go for like £150, £160 from third-party retailers from other different stores. I've seen it go as low as maybe like £115, £120, which is like £100 off retail price, which means that paying £215 for this myself, I did myself a big disservice. That's kind of why this thing stayed in its shipping box for as long as it did. I just can't bring myself to break the seal, knowing that I could have got it significantly cheaper. And there's a part of me that would like to say, oh, well, it's an investment. I'm just going to hold on to it. And maybe in a year or 2, once it has retired, it'll be worth more. And then I can feel like a very savvy consumer by opening it at that point when the retail price is, you know, £300 or something. But in practice, it's really not worth it. It's just my own hubris that is holding me back from opening and building this thing. Of the 3 sets that we are talking about today that are retiring, this is the one which is probably the most desirable for anybody who is looking to build their own modular cityscape, because it fits so well with other modular buildings. You can see how this kind of works, right? You have this and then you have that, and I don't need to explain this to you. You know what I'm talking about. Well, look who just happened to be in the bookshop at the moment. It's Loki, who, yeah, he would definitely fit in very well in the Sanctum Sanctorum if I ever actually bother to open it. Tell you what, I've had an idea. If we can get to 100,000 subscribers before this Lego set retires, I will open it up in a video. I will bite the bullet, I will actually break the seal, and I will build it for a video. But only if we can get to 100,000 subscribers before it retires. So hit that subscribe button now. Once this thing is gone, perhaps the next best one for those looking to add something to a modular city is going to be the Avengers Tower, but again, that one towers over anything else at this kind of size point, which does make this something very special. And I would be hard-pressed to think of another building of this kind of size that the LEGO Group could add to the Marvel range, say, for 2024, just because most Marvel buildings are skyscrapers because of the New York setting from most of the comics and films. Right, that's the Sanctum Sanctorum. Another building that is going to be retiring by the end of this year is the Taj Mahal. Unfortunately, I don't have a larger visual aid for this particular part of the video. There are some buildings that suit LEGO more than others, and the Taj Mahal definitely is one that is an absolutely fantastic conversion. Indeed, there's been some version of the Taj Mahal around for quite some time in LEGO form. Here's where things get complicated. Prior to the currently retiring 21056 Taj Mahal, we had the 10256 Taj Mahal, which was essentially the same building recreated in LEGO form, but on a larger scale. The previous, already long-retired 10256 Taj Mahal had 5,923 pieces. The currently retiring 20156 Taj Mahal has just 2,022 pieces. Working from this model of increasingly smaller versions of the Taj Mahal, one has to assume that we might well get another one in the future that will have an even smaller piece count, maybe like around 1,000 pieces, or indeed maybe something more akin to this gift with purchase one, which is just little and dinky and tiny and is not going to take up too much space on the shelf. Maybe we can go even smaller and just have like that as a Taj Mahal, like something of that size. That'd be fun. I think given the fact that this one's been around basically forever and was indeed a different larger model before that one, I don't feel particularly like fans are going to grieve too hard for the latest version of the Taj Mahal that is retiring. We do just kind of expect that these things happen with time. I think most people who would have picked one up at the size that it is at the moment will have done so already. But if you are thinking, oh, I'd quite like a Taj Mahal, and you're not necessarily feeling patient, or you don't feel like gambling on the fact that we might get another one in the future, then sure, go ahead and pick this one up while you still can. But if you are on the fence about the idea and you maybe want to consider other options, who knows, there might be another one in the future, simply because this seems to be a fairly evergreen set for the LEGO Group. Take all of that, by the way, with an enormous pinch of salt, because I have no genuine insight whatsoever and am purely speculating, considering that we've had two of these in the past. By the way, before we get to the third set on this list, I just want to bear in mind that there are additional buildings that are retiring at the end of this year. It's not just these three. So we're also losing, for example, the long-time mainstay, the Tree House. We're losing Paisley's house from the LEGO Friends range. We're losing Hogsmeade from the Harry Potter range. There's lots of different houses and buildings that are retiring at the end of this year. These three that we've picked at the moment for talking about are just the ones that fans might want to be particularly aware of, but there are others, so it is well worth going to brickfanatics.com and checking out the full list of every retiring set for 2024, just to be on the safe side. With that in mind, the third set that we're going to be talking about in this video is the A-frame cabin. And yes, my visual aids are getting worse. The A-frame cabin is an absolutely delightful set, and having released just last year, it's not been on the market for particularly long. Normally, when a set retires this quickly, it's an indication that it hasn't quite maybe met its audience, that it's not quite proven as popular as the LEGO Group might have hoped, because generally, if something sells, they keep it on the store shelves until it stops selling. So it does suggest that maybe this one's not ended up being as popular as some of the other LEGO Ideas sets. That's a shame, because it's absolutely gorgeous. It won't necessarily integrate with a cityscape quite as well as, say, Sanctum Sanctorum, because it's meant to be a little bit more isolated, a little bit more on its own, but certainly there is a place for it in any kind of LEGO landscape. If you're collecting buildings in general, then you can have a little wild area over to the side, and there's the A-frame cabin. I mean, it's entirely possible that 2023 was also just a little bit oversaturated with wooden houses made of Lego. For example, in addition to the A-frame cabin, we had the Alpine Lodge, we had the Viking Village, we had several Lego City and Lego Friends houses that were all made of wood, we had the Sanderson sisters cottage from the Hocus Pocus films. There were a lot of them in a very short space of time, and it might just be that people had to pick and choose which wooden house they wanted made out of Lego, and the A-frame cabin didn't end up being the most popular of that list. And there we have it, some of the key building related LEGO sets that are going to be retiring by the end of this year. Now bear in mind, as said, that just because a LEGO set is scheduled for retirement at the moment, it doesn't mean that that schedule won't move around or change as the months progress. Also bear in mind that just because a LEGO set is set to be retiring by 31st of December 2024, it doesn't mean that the stock won't run out sooner, and it also doesn't mean that some stock will remain on store shelves until later. It just means that that's the cutoff by which absolutely no more sets will be manufactured by the LEGO Group. With all of that in mind, if you are going to be making a Lego.com purchase in the near future, either one of these sets or something entirely different, make sure that you use the QR code, which is on screen right now, or the affiliate link, which is in the description, because doing so just gives us a little bit of a kickback when you make that purchase. Make sure that you head down into the comments to let us know which of these Lego sets you're most interested in picking up before it disappears, and make sure that you do all of the rest of the YouTube things while you're there. Give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, etc, etc, etc. Finally, as said, there are plenty more LEGO sets retiring in the year 2024, so make sure that you head to brickfanatics.com, there's a link in the description, to see all of the different LEGO sets that are currently slated for retirement by the end of the year. And while you are there, make sure that you sign up to our newsletter so that you never miss anything LEGO related ever again. Thank you very much for watching.